Hey guys, it's your girl Miss Low, BSN RN. Thank you guys for coming to my channel. Welcome to any new people who are here. I hope you like what you see and you subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. All my oldies but goodies, thanks for listening to my videos. So today we are going to talk about day shift versus night shift. There is a lot of, I want to say, controversy about day shift versus night shift. It really just comes down to personal preference. But since I have worked both, I will let you guys know the pros and the cons and my opinion on the day shift versus the night shift. So if you want to listen to that, let's get started. Okay, so like I said, I am a CVICU travel nurse. I have worked day shift before, although not too many day shifts. I'm primarily night shift. I like night shift. Night shift starts typically your day shift, if you're working 12-hour shifts, it's going to be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and your night shift will be from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. give or take. Some places tell you to come in at 6:45, those type of things. But give or take, that's a 12-hour shift. I've been doing night shift for a while, since I became a nurse, honestly. And then I had a couple of what we call per diem jobs that were day shift. And then when I was training, sometimes in the beginning, they make you do day shift. I have always been a night owl, so sometimes I say I'm a little bit biased to the night just because I tend to function better at night. It's easier for me to stay up until 4 a.m. than to get up out of my bed at 4 a.m. to get ready to go to work. It's just really, really hard for me to do that. I can do it, but I do not feel good usually about it. So I've always been a nightie. The good thing about being a night shifter is if you get new jobs and things, most of the openings that are open is for night shift. So typically when you're interviewing with the manager and you tell them that you're looking for a night shift, most of them instantly do this sigh of relief because like, oh, thank God, that's all we had. Most of the time it's night shift that's open because a lot of people don't like to work nights. People say it kind of throws you off a little bit. A con to it also, people say you kind of feel like you're always sleepy or like in this weird fog. Personally, I don't feel like that, but just because I don't feel like that doesn't mean it's not true. I don't feel like that. I sleep just fine. I wake up just fine. I can kind of do what I need to do just fine, but I also don't have a lot going on. I know people who have like families and husbands and kids and things like that they have to run after. The night shift kind of just keeps them very tired because they can't really fully sleep. But also at the same time, I've had friends who do have kids and families and things like that say that night shift, although they have less sleep, it works for their family dynamic because they are around during the day. Although they might be sleepy, they're around to pick kids up from school, make dinner, things like that, and then they're kind of just gone at night versus being the day they're gone the entire day. So I guess it depends on how well it works for you and your family dynamic. I am single. I don't have any kids or anything like that. So my sleep pattern, it is what it is. Like whenever I decide to sleep is when I'm going to sleep. Whenever I wake up is when I want to wake up. So for me, I never really experienced any of those things, but I could see how that could be a problem with working nights because you sleep all day. So like, for example, you work Sunday night and yeah, you have Monday off, but your Monday, unless you make yourself wake up, it's pretty much ruined because you're going to sleep all day Monday. Even if you can wake up at noon or 1, the day is halfway over. So in that type of aspect versus like if you work day shift on Sunday, you're going to work all day Sunday and then you'll have all day on Monday to be awake. So there is one thing about the day shift versus night shift that is kind of hit or miss for some people. So a pro for night shift that I see a lot and that people say the most is the money. Most places they will pay you more to work at night because it is not normal. Some places say that eventually it kind of like strips your soul away. I don't know how true that is, but it's hard. You know, it's hard on the body. Your body is not made to be up all night. Your circadian rhythm is definitely thrown off. So most places they will pay you more, what they call a differential, to work at night. So there is a pro for that. Some places I've heard are getting away from good differentials though, because I know some people, they for financial reasons they'll work at night because it's just more economically feasible for them to work at night. But I've heard some companies are getting away from the good differentials and things to do nights. Some companies now are only paying you $1 more an hour to work at night, which is kind of unfair because it does take a lot to work at night. Even for someone like me, I have to be very particular what I do that day before I go into work. So back to Sunday night, if I'm working Sunday night, it may not be best for me to be up all day. I can't be up all day. I can't do Sunday fun day and things like that. And if I have to be to work, because I have to be up all night, and since your body isn't used to being up during the middle of the night anyway, and it's not normal, it's hard. Versus like if you work day shift, if you do Sunday fun day and then somebody texts you at 10 p.m. and it's like, oh, can you come work for me? It might be like slightly harder to wake up in the morning, but it's still normal. Like your body's on a normal schedule. So you don't really have to do as much preparation. Whereas night shift people, they have to sleep during the day so they can be able to stay up all night. Make preparations if they have things going on, such as kids, dogs, cats. Somebody can be with them during the night. So it does take a little bit more preparation, even if you're used to it. Some people, they're used to it and they say, like, for example, they don't have to sleep the first day. They can just kind of stay up, things like that. But it takes more preparation and more mental prep to work at night, just because it's so backwards. To the companies that are starting to not give that much differential for our inconvenience of being up all night, it sucks, but
what can you do?
But for most places so far, they still give more money to work at night. At night, I feel like your team is more close knit. You're more like family, because a con at night is there's less resources. There are less doctors around. There are less help around. There's less, there's not all the lab techs. There's not all the x-ray techs. There's not the EKG people there. So sometimes at night, all those little tasks that during the day they would have a person that's hired to do them, they don't have those people at night. Or, for example, they might have 5 phlebotomists during the day to help get labs, and then at night they only have 1, so they go from 5 to 1. So just imagine how long it will take you at night to get certain things done. So therefore the night nurse usually learns how to do things like that because there's just not enough help. So therefore your night team tends to be, not always, but the night team tends to be a really close-knit family because there's just not enough resources. We all have to help each other out to get through this night. Versus during the day, there is a lot of extra help, which is great. So not saying that day shift nurses, they're not as tight-knit, but they just have a lot more help from other areas, and they can be more tight-knit with those people because there's extra help always available and around them. You tend to get really good at brainstorming because working night shift, because a lot of places they don't want you calling the doctor just for anything. So during the day, you have one question, you can call the doctor. The doctor will answer it. You can hang up the phone. Remember that you have another question to ask him maybe an hour later. You can call, you can ask him or her that question. That's not really going to work at night. So you make sure you brainstorm. You have to talk to everybody. Again, you have to work together. Oh, I want to call Dr. So-and-so. Does anybody else need Dr. So-and-so? Make sure you have all your questions for Dr. So-and-so, because we don't want to have to call Dr. So-and-so again. It's already 2 a.m. We don't want to have to call Dr. So-and-so at 4 a.m. So you get really good with like strategizing, figuring out what is most important, what you need right now in order to get you through the night, because you don't want to have to call this doctor about silly things 3, 4, and 5 times, because it's not going to make him very happy, because most of the time the doctors have to round in the morning, and if they're up all night answering your questions because you forget to ask them all together, it may not be the best thing. Day shift, of course, the pro with day shift is that your body is on a normal cycle. You wake up, you do your shift, you come home, you go to sleep. You can wake up and it's like kind of like nothing happened almost. Like I was saying, for some people for night shift, especially if you work 3 days in a row, by that time you kind of have to teach your body to be awake during the day. So you either sleep less and wake up early, or you stay up as long as you can. Like you get off at 7 a.m. and you try to stay up all the way as long as you can till 5 and 6 p.m. just so you can sleep at night and then wake up and try to change your body pattern. You don't have to go through all those things when you work at night. It's just like, when you work during the day, it's just like, oh, I worked, that's it. And everything else is pretty much the same. It's the same type of rhythm. So if you are somebody who needs that, then day shift would be a good thing for you, because it kind of keeps you in the same rhythm as everybody else. You don't have to ever explain to anybody why you're asleep during the day, because for some odd reason, people who work at night, they find themselves having to explain to people who work during the day that they're going to be sleepy. So you're constantly explaining to people, they're constantly asking you, well, why are you asleep? It's 3 o'clock in the daytime. 3 o'clock in the daytime for you is 3 o'clock in the night for someone who works night shift. So that's why I am asleep. And a lot of people just don't get it. So if you are with someone, if you have a partner or, other people, I know, for example, my mother did not get it. I don't know why she didn't get it. It's like she didn't see me all night. And then I would, of course, be sleeping because I was at work all night. But when I would be home, she would come and knock on my door and ask me why I'm asleep, and it's 1 o'clock in the day, and I'm like, I worked last night, this is 1 a.m. for me. You're sleeping at 1 a.m., correct? A lot of people just don't get it, and a lot of people working at night, they just kind of don't get your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is a little bit different. A pro though, if you are to night shift, if you are into like going out and being up all night, then you can do those things because you're already used to being up all night anyway. So day shift people, sometimes they have a hard time with that because they tend to be asleep by 9 p.m. Because they're used to being awake literally at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get their day started. So by the time around 9, 10 o'clock comes around, they're ready to hit the hay. So it depends on your lifestyle too. If you're more into the nighttime lifestyle, it's good if you work at night because you can hang. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to personal preference. If you like day shift versus night shift, if you have certain responsibilities that work better, that you'll be able to attend to better if you worked at night, or maybe if you work during the day. For me personally, when I worked during the day, I felt that I couldn't get anything done. Like I felt like I worked all day, so I couldn't go to any appointments or anything like that. If I worked at night, I can, go to the gym in the morning, probably squeeze a doctor appointment in, sleep and wake up and then go to work. Versus when I work during the day, it's like, well, my whole day is shot. I can't do anything. By the time I get home, it's pitch black dark outside. I have to go to sleep. And then like for me, like I said, since I am naturally a night owl, the day shift made me a lot tired. A lot more tired. I was sleepy. I worked a couple day shifts just this last week, and it was hard for me. It was hard for me to stay awake during the day. It was hard for me to get up in the morning. I think that was the worst part, especially for someone like me. Like I said, it's easier for me to stay awake till 4 a.m. than to wake up at 4 something in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. And when I would sleep at night, I would just think about how I have to wake up in such a short amount of time, and it would give me anxiety. But that's just me personally. I know some people who feel the exact same way when they work at night. They're like, oh my goodness, I can't sleep during the day. I'm gonna have to be up so soon, and I'm gonna have to stay awake all night. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, and vice versa. So it just honestly comes down to personal preference. If you feel like you're a day shift person, if you feel like it's easier for you to wake up during the day, get your stuff done, kind of have a normal rhythm of things, then do day shift. If you feel like that's not for you, then do night shift. I would suggest if you are a new grad, and I know some places, like the places that I originally came from, when I first became a nurse, they made all their nurses do night shift. Not because it's slower at night, because night shift, they do have their problems. Patients do get sick in the night. But however, it's an easier environment to learn, because when you are day shift, especially as a new nurse, there's just so many things going on. You have physical therapy, you have occupational therapy, you have speech coming in there, you have the case managers coming in there, you have every doctor that's on the patient's case if they have 4 or 5 doctors, they're all coming in there asking you questions. And it's kind of hard to just learn the basic time management and learn, okay, this is what you do first, this is how you're going to plan your day, things like that. Night shift, of course, you're not going to have PT, OT, speech, all those people coming in kind of interrupting you. You're not going to have all the 5 doctors on the case coming in and asking you questions and kind of interrupting your flow. So I know where I first started, they had all the new grads, especially because you have to really learn that flow and then learn how to have people interject it and what you're going to do. They would have them start on nights so they can learn just the typical flow of how to do things and then kind of build themselves up to the day shift rigmarole. Because the day shift, no matter how you cut it, it is a lot more busy. There's just a lot more bodies and a lot more people because, like I said, you're dealing with all those people that I just said, and then even sometimes you're dealing with administration, like people who aren't even, healthcare team, but they do work for the hospital. They're coming through. You might have extra meetings that are trying to be stuck into your time of working. You even have like JCO and things come in. So you do have to really strategize a little bit more. You have the family, even if you work at a hospital that allows family members to stay the night, of course, you're not going to have as many family members as you do during the day, just kind of peeking in, hey, how you doing? Get well soon type of thing. And they all want to ask you, each family member that walks in wants to ask you 10 questions, stuff like that. So with the day shift, it is a lot more busy. You do tend to also get more, especially if you work on the floor like med surg or PCU, tele, you're going to get admissions and discharges. So you're going to be discharging people, you're going to be bringing them in, things like that. Versus at night, when I first started working at night on the floor, I think I maybe discharged a total of 3 people. We do a lot of admissions. People, of course, get sick at night and they come in the middle of the night. So you get really good at admissions, but I didn't really have to do too much discharging, and I have to do both. So it's a lot busier during the day, I would say, in ways of that nature. Versus at night, the patients like to crash at night. They like to crash and burn, and then you don't have a lot of resources. So you're good at like I said, strategizing, working on your toes really fast, trying to come up with critical thinking skills, figuring out who you're going to call, what you're going to say to them so you don't have to, bother them too much and things like that. So they're different. It's a different type of chaos for each one. Nursing isn't easy regardless. I wouldn't say one of them is easier than the other because it's not. They both are kind of different beasts in regards to the madness. It's a beast, but a different madness of the beast. So pick which devil you like more type of thing. Pick which one works for you and what you have going on in your life. So that's my tidbit on day shift versus night shift. Obviously, as you can see, I would pick nights. I did have a day shift job, and unfortunately I had to let it go just because it wasn't working for me. It was starting to really hinder my health and my mental health. I could not do it anymore. And that's just something that I had to learn. I had to learn that I can't do everything. Not saying that maybe one day I will go back to a day shift type of role. And it just probably wasn't good for me at that time in my life. Night shift does work better. And for right now, night shift still does work better. Not to say that it will always be that way. Maybe one day I'll wake up and be like, yeah, I probably need to work during the day. But probably when that happens, I'll probably have like a graduate degree or something, and it's more like a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 thing versus like a 5 a.m. type thing, so I don't have to wake up as early during the day. But until then, I'm gonna be rocking it at night. I like my nights. It brings a lot more opportunities for me as well. As a travel nurse, most travel positions are mainly nights. They do have day shifts, but those are very coveted and people tend to fill those very quickly. Versus night shift, there's a lot more options around. The good thing about day shift though, if you do decide to ever become a travel nurse, the day shift and the night shift pay tends to be the same. There really is no difference. The pay package is the same across the board. So now if you're a day shift nurse and you were somebody who always has to like work an extra shift or something like that because you're not making as much money as if you would work nights, it's now the same. So I know that is a pro for travel nurses. If you decide to ever want to travel, it's the same all across the board. And for some people, when they do decide to travel, who were working nights, they like then to go to days because like, well, the money is the same. There's no point in me risking my body and my circadian rhythm to work at night anymore. But for me, I love it. I like the night shift. If I do bedside, I probably will always do nights. Nights is just something that I can grasp and get my head around and be able to function that way. So if you are a day shift or night shift nurse and you like either one more than the other, why don't you leave it down in the comment box? Maybe some people are trying to figure out what they want to do. If they want to do days versus nights, maybe they're almost done with nursing school and they're like, oh, it's going to be coming to that time. What should I do? Should I do day shift or night shift? So leave it in the comment box so people can read and maybe get a little advice or a little intuition on what they might want to do. If you have any questions about day shift versus night shift or anything about nursing at all, you can always email me at misslowbsnrn@gmail.com and I will email you back. If you would like to follow me on social media, I have my Instagram, my Snapchat, and my Twitter all right there. You can follow me. I will definitely follow you back. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for my subscribers for subscribing to my channel. And I will hope to get a new video to you soon, hopefully next week. But until then, stay tuned. Bye.